You are not an axolotl. Hey guys, what's up? Cherry Jane here, and welcome back to another video. Today we are back on VanillaCraft. Now last episode we worked to make somewhat of like a bathhouse in our basement, but I have decided that I absolutely hate the way that this looks. I think it's really awkward and not a good use of the space. So I have a way better idea that we are going to do today. We're also going to build some aquariums down here, so we're going to need to collect a bunch of tropical fish and some axolotls. But before we start working on this, we do have a little armadillo up here. And this little guy needs a name, so if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Now let's start by dismantling this whole awkward bath fountain thing. I don't know, it looks horrible. So let's work on that. This is going to take quite a while to dismantle, so I'll get back to you once I have it all done. Alright, so now that we have all of this dug out, we can start working on filling in the floor. Something else I wanted to do was, I think that the sides of the room is a little awkward, so I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter by moving both these walls and those walls in. Alright, so now we have successfully dismantled both sides. So now we can start working on filling in the floor and rebuilding the walls. So this is how big the room will be once we put in the walls. So let's start rebuilding the arches. Now all we have to do is replace the walls. So now let's replicate this design on the other side. Alright, there we go. I think that this is a lot better shape for the room. I think it's a lot less awkward. And now my plan is we're gonna build a tropical fish aquarium right here, a hot spring right here, and an axolotl aquarium right there. So to begin with, I think we should start on the hot spring. So I'm gonna have a little waterfall come out from up here and then come out into a little pond down here. I also really want to put some flower pots in the wall right here. So let's dig these out, and then we can put some little flower pots in there. So let's start by getting some stone bricks, some cobblestone, adding some texture to the floor here. And then I even want like the back of the waterfall to have some texture as well. Alright, I think that looks good. Now we can start working on the actual pond. Alright, so now we have some texture for the floor, and you might be wondering what these blocks right here are supposed to be. And I left those empty because we got a great suggestion to use campfires to make it look like a hot spring so we can have the smoke coming up, which I think is such a good idea. So let's go ahead and craft a couple of those. There we go. Now let's go place them down. The nice thing is that these will also provide us with some light because it is very dark down here. That looks so good. Now let's cover them up with some spruce trapdoors, like this. And now we can fill up the hot spring with water. This is going to look so cute. So we'll have it come down from here. And there we go, that is so cute. Now it is missing a bit of greenery, so I thought we could go ahead and grab some vines. So let's put those right here. Now all we need is some flower pots. Right here and right here. Now I'm not going to put anything in them yet because I really want to put an azalea bush in them. And because we have to go find axolotls anyway, we can grab some of those while we're in the lush cave. Now let's start working on the aquariums. So let's start with the tropical fish aquarium first. So let's start by filling in the walls, and we're going to use stone bricks for the ceiling. And for the floor, of course, we're going to have to use some sand. Unfortunately, I don't have any extra, so we are going to have to make a trip. For this trip, I think I'm going to bring Cherry John with me, and also an extra shovel. Now let's make our way to the docks for our boat. Now let's head out a little bit, just because I don't want to disturb the terrain around my house. Now it is starting to get dark, so we will have to make this trip pretty quick. Alright, so let's grab some sand from off this island over here. I'm going to grab quite a bit because we're also going to need a bunch of glass to put for the aquarium. Alright, we have 3 stacks, which should be more than enough, so let's head home. There's a creeper right by my dog. Alright, we gotta get out of here fast. Crisis averted. Now let's make our way home very quickly. Ah! No! Ah, it's a baby! Alright, come on, Cherry John. Alright, we are finally safe and home. Alright, now we can go downstairs and smelt all of our sand. Well, not all of it, because we do need some of it for the floor. So let's start placing that down. So let's make some sandstone, and then some sandstone walls. Then we're gonna build a little mini castle right there. Now I also think it would be really cute to get some coral and some kelp to put in here. Now I know I said I didn't want to go back to the coral reef in the last episode because it was so far, but I actually found a closer one off camera, so we're gonna go there and collect some of the resources we need. We can also collect some of the fish that we need while we're there. So let's grab all of the resources that we'll need, and let's make our way back to the docks. I'm also going to collect a couple more sea pickles that we can put in the aquarium. That'll be another really good source of light. Alright, we have finally arrived. Now there's plenty of tropical fish right here, so I'm going to go ahead and snag a couple of these. Alright, we got our first one. Let's get this one. Do I need silk touch? Well, maybe we can't have coral just yet, but there is a bunch of kelp and a bunch of tropical fish over here, so it's not a total waste. We can also go ahead and grab a couple more sea pickles. Ooh, and some seagrass. Now, sadly, I am having a hard time finding fish over here. Ooh, there's some over there. Alright, so I spotted a couple more, so let's try and grab one of these. I'm trying to collect a bunch of different kinds of fish. Ooh, oh god, I keep forgetting that you can drown. And lastly, I'm gonna grab this guy right over here. So now we have 8 tropical fish, which should be more than enough. We also have the one from last episode that we kidnapped. Sadly, we didn't get any coral, but I would say it wasn't a total waste. So let's make our way back home. So now let's go ahead and fill up the aquarium with water. Let's grab some water from outside, and let's start filling this up with water. Alright, so I almost drowned a few times, but it is finally complete. Now we can go ahead and put the kelp, the seagrass, and the sea pickles in. So I think that that looks super cute. So now we can go ahead and finally add the fish. So we have a red snapper, a cob, a spotty, a tigerfish, a dottyback, glitter, a parrotfish, and a goatfish. Let's go ahead and close this up and look at all the little fish in there. It is so cute and colorful. That is adorable. So now that the fish aquarium is done, we can finally start building our axolotl tank, which will be built right here, right across from the fish tank. Alright, so I want to make this area look as natural as possible, so I'm going to use a gradient of deep slate, cobblestone, stone bricks, and andesite. So we're going to have cobble deep slate at the top, some regular deep slate, some cobblestone, some regular stone, and then some andesite. And here is the base for it. We're gonna go ahead and try to find a lush cave where we can find the axolotls and also get some moss. Now, unfortunately, I haven't had much luck finding a lush cave around here, although while I was looking for the pale oak garden, I remember seeing a lush cave in a ravine, so let's head that way and try to find it again. Now, unfortunately, it is quite far, but it'll be worth it for the axolotls. So I remember it being in a birch forest. The only problem is that there is so much birch forest over here. Let's just hope I remember where it is, and also that we don't run into any mobs. Alright, it wasn't this ravine. It's not this one. I swear it was over here somewhere, although all birch forests kind of look the same. Alright, we finally found it. I knew it was over here somewhere. Well, now we just have to make our way over there. I have 6 buckets, so we can get maximum 6 axolotls, which I think is more than enough, especially because we have a pretty small space for them. We can also expand it if we need to. Alright, so we have to keep our eye open for any axolotls, and we should also probably collect some of this moss. You are not an axolotl. Oh my god, I see the axolotls. We got our first axolotl! And I see a bunch more over here. Alright, hey buddy. I thought I saw one over here. There you are. So we have 3 axolotls. Let's grab a bunch of the greenery over here. We should also grab some glowberries. Ooh, and a yellow axolotl. I also have another project that I'm going to work on, probably in the next episode, that also requires a bunch of moss. We have room for 2 more axolotls. Oh, a little brown one. What was that? What was that? Ah! Creeper! No, 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 no! That scared me. Ew, ew, ew. Ah! No! This is very dangerous. So we got about 9 glowberries. We are able to bone meal those, so 9 should be enough. No, 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 no! Well, that is a quick way back home. So now that we have all of the materials that we'll need, we can start working on the axolotl enclosure. We also have some of the azalea bushes, so we can put those right there. And I think that that looks adorable. So let's go ahead and place some moss around. Here we go, that looks super cute. And now we can put some of the glowberries down. So we'll have them grow in the back over here. We can even put some lily pads down. Let's go ahead and fill the bottom with water. Alright, now that we have the glass wall mostly built up, let's go ahead and place down the axolotls. So we've got our brown one right there. A pink one, another pink one, and a yellow one. And now we can go ahead and finish the tank. They're so cute! Now that the hot spring and the aquariums are done, let's go ahead and add just a couple more decorations to this room. Let's start off by making some tables over here, like this, and then we can add a flower pot in each of them. And of course, add a flower. And then what I think I'm going to do over here is I'm going to build a little access door over here to get to the aquarium. And a little access door over here so that we can get to the axolotls. So let's put a door over here and a door over there. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye!